just finished getting the tower up, and we've tried it a few times now with the HexBeam up at I guess it's close to 89 feet, all things considered. Top of the trees are about where the 70-foot level is, and then the 10-foot mast brings you above the top of the trees. And I've got a 5-foot mast on top of that, and on top of that is a HexBeam. HexBeam's rigid into the mast, rigid into the additional mast, and oops, there was a flip over. Didn't mean to do that. So now you can see what it looks like from up on top of the tower at the height of the HexBeam. I'm looking out over the top of the forest. Can't hardly see any of the houses. The house that you do see there, that green roof, is to the north of me, so that's looking north, but Florida's flat. There are no mountains, and so once you get up that high and start looking from this height, unless you're flying right over the top of something, it's just down in the woods. And these trees apparently are in the neighborhood of 60, 65, 70 feet high. Fewer of them stick up higher than that, but very few. So this is kind of a cool place to operate an antenna from. Last night I was listening on the HexBeam. It's currently pointed somewhat to the south of west. There's really nothing down there except the Gulf of Mexico and that out across the Pacific. But about 11 o'clock at night, the band tried to open, and I was listening to 2 stations in New Zealand complain about the band being completely closed. They were having trouble talking to North America. They did reach Ecuador a few times in South America, but with just modest results. And so I broke in and let them know I was listening, and they were quite surprised to hear a North American station, because they were hearing no other North American stations at that time. And then about 20 minutes later, the band completely closed again. So kind of exciting to have the first contact be New Zealand, and they gave me a 5.9 report, and they were quite pleased with my signal off of the tower. Well, the next step will be to get a rotor connected to the controller inside the house so I can turn the beam. And then after that, I'll take the time to put the Force 12 underneath the HexBeam, do the comparison between the 2 antennas, and then continue to finish working with the antenna until I get it completely set up the way that we hope to have it. Eventually that'll mean the Force 12 and VHF, UHF antennas up on top of the tower. Certainly nice to have the Bebop drone and to be able to fly up and see what it looks like from up on top of the stack of stuff. It gives you a whole different perspective. And there's about the height of the trees right there, just below the 72-foot level, which is the top of the tower. So I'm sure I'm a full 10 to 15 feet above that with the HexBeam, and even with the Force 12 just sitting a foot or two above the top of the tower, it too should be completely in the clear. Well, I think what I'll do is I'll fly down along the driveway and then take a look at the tower from the street with the drone and see if there's anything else to be learned by that. I was just at the height of the top of the apex on the inverted V's, the double bazooka for 40 and 80, and then the all-band wire antenna, which is a redesigned G5RV by Zulu Sierra 6 Bravo Kilo Whiskey. And so now it's about time to fly down the driveway, and let's see what it looks like from the front of the property. The plan, of course, was to have the tower behind the house, but it sticks up so far that, oh boy, that was a clear view of just how high above the tree line the HexBeam sits. It's going to be a good tower. I got a good feel about it. And I guess the next step is to connect a rotor control cable to it, or I've got the cable connected, but connect the control head to the rotator control, and be able to turn the beam at will towards the stations that I wish to work. So, fun project, and I'll keep people posted as I do the updates.